Does stretching in between sets help build more muscle? A recent review study out of the USA examined the literature. They initially detail an array of potential ways by which stretch could signal muscle growth. We've actually detailed how stretch forces signals hypertrophy in a previous in-depth video. However, they also note how static stretching in humans doesn't seem to be great for hypertrophy, although extreme static stretching could be. For example, this 2022 German study found that performing this calf stretch for 1 hour daily produced significant gastrocnemius growth. When stretching between sets, as the researchers note, ideally you'd want to get into the stretch immediately after the lowering phase of an exercise, and loaded stretching could be ideally used here. This is because during the lowering phase, elements in your muscle that produce stretching forces are in a stiffer state, something that could be beneficial for signaling muscle growth more. So getting into the stretch straight after the lowering phase would theoretically leverage these stiffer stretching forces to signal more hypertrophy. Indeed, a study by Silva and colleagues found getting straight into a calf stretch for 30 seconds between calf press sets produced significantly greater gastrocnemius growth. However, this paper wasn't actually ever published, it was only presented at some conference. But another very recent study also found that getting straight into a calf stretch for 20 seconds between calf presses produced greater soleus growth, but it did not produce greater gastrocnemius growth. With studies that do not have subjects get into a stretch straight after the lowering phase of an exercise, they largely fail to find stretching between sets to be better, but it does not seem to compromise growth either. A USA study found in between bench press sets, moving over to cable fly machines to stretch the chest produced similar gains to just resting passively between sets. A Japanese paper found that in between flywheel squats, moving over to a table to stretch the quadriceps produced similar gains to just resting passively. Having said this, another USA study did actually find that in between sets of a range of exercises, moving to a 30-second stretch did enhance hypertrophy in previously untrained individuals. As the researchers of this year's review describe, in summary, emerging evidence suggests that interset stretch may enhance muscular adaptations. Its effectiveness appears to be predicated on performing the stretch immediately after the final repetition of a set, which conceivably takes advantage of the residual effects of previous eccentric actions. I want to add my own limitations here. There's still far from a ton of research on stretching between sets. Moreover, the paper that found calf stretching enhanced soleus growth only indicates slightly more soleus growth, not a ton. In any case, you could experiment with stretching between sets if you wish. I'm looking forward to more data in this area.